NFL Week 3. Are we buying? Are we selling? The entire Why Lose team is here, locked in, dialed in. We have 4 best bets, top prop, ride or die. Someone from the comments is going to win a $200 Amazon gift card. We also have an upset special and a 5-leg parlay that Chef J.A. Cavalier is going to cook up for you guys. All of that and much, much more on this week's Player Performance.
If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
Here we are, NFL Week 3. I, of course, am J.A. Cavalier, your favorite capper's favorite capper. This right here is Player Performance. Go ahead, smash the like button, thumbs up. Appreciation, always appreciated. Of course, we appreciate you guys the most. If you're new, welcome. Now go ahead, smash the like button, drop a hammer on that like button. Be sure to subscribe. We do this every week. I'm going to be joined by Coach Rick, Shark, Guns, and of course, Prop Master. Actually, Shark's not going to be on this week. No problem. We still got the tribe coming in. We have Guns coming in. We have Coach Rick Poe, and we have Luke Shuey, the prop master. We're going to tell you who we like. We're going to tell you why we like them, hopefully making you guys smarter players along the way. So here it is. We're going to get to NFL Week 3 in just a second. First, let's recap Week 2 with Tessa Hall.
Back it up. One more time.
All right, let's see that again.
Here's your NFL Week 2 recap. The Green Bay Packers would elect Jerry Jones the next president if he's still alive to vote for in appreciation for Parsons. The Jags took out Burrow, causing Brown to throw 3 picks, and they still lost. Russell Wilson can look like an MVP candidate and a Canadian Football League QB all in the same game. The world was ready to crush Dan Campbell, but then he showed Ben Johnson who daddy is and got the respect back. Cam Ward is looking like Jameis Winston through 2 weeks. Hello, top 5 pick. The Miami Dolphins are about to become the first team in NFL history to have 2 player-only meetings before Week 3. Return of the Mac. Brock Purdy can rest up that foot because another white QB is excelling in the Shanahan system. I love it when it feels like old times. The Jets looking like total shit against a divisional opponent. Joe Flacco looked elite. Elite at being a 40-year-old dude who should be staying at home with his kids. Mike Tomlin put a rookie who had returned 4 kicks in college as his primary returner, and it ended up being the most embarrassing play of the season. Do not touch the center. Do not touch the center. Broncos, do not touch the center. The Cards blew a lead so quick to the Panthers. I thought I was watching the old Pac-12. Thank your blessing for Calais Campbell. Travis Kelce is in Taylor's doghouse this week for blowing the game against the Eagles. So, J.J. McCarthy is just a worse version of Sam Darnold. Vikings might have chosen incorrectly. Houston is the least walkable city, except when Baker has to walk all over them in the final drive. Not even Tom Brady calling plays from the booth can make Geno Smith look like a mid-quarterback. That's your NFL Week 2 recap.
Thank you, Tessa. All right, hot or not. So basically, it's where I was right and where I was wrong in NFL Week 2. First off, I said the Cowboys are going to have to score high 30s and 40s to win games, and they did just that. And they needed every single yard from Aubrey's leg. The Detroit Lions, not dead yet. They bounced back in a big way, hung a 50-burger on the Chicago Bears. Goff, 334 through the air, 5 touchdowns. Caleb Williams on the other side, what a sieve, what a joke, what a clown. I hate quarterbacks that are just too cool. And Caleb Williams, the dude's painting his nails. C.J. Stroud, incomplete pass to a wide-open Nico Collins at the goal line. And no big deal. Trevor Lawrence throws an interception. Aw, shucks. And Caleb Williams, down fucking 30 points, and you're laughing. Dude, is there anything more disrespectful to your team, to your fans, the organization that drafted you number 1 overall? You're the quarterback, the top spot. If I have to ask my quarterback how important football is to him, that's not a guy I want leading my team, because that is not a leader of men. I want fire. I want Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Herbert, Lamar. They all play with fire. Baker Mayfield. Now, say what you want about Baker, but I'm never going to have to question Baker of whether or not the game matters. He puts his body on the line. He plays with a reckless abandonment, emotions on sleeve. Anyway, where I was wrong, the Packers. They just might be the best team in the NFL. Both sides of the ball. Now, look, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't believe it. But look, I have to say it. They just might be. And Baker Mayfield. I thought that there was no way that Baker would be able to come back, repeat his performance from last year. But then what happens? Baker just goes out there and does Baker-like things. Defies the laws of gravity and still just keeps it chugging. Anyway, bets overall, another profitable week. NFL on the season now 28-12. That's 70%. And we look to keep that momentum going. We're going to carry it into NFL week 3. Oh, wait, you hear that? You hear that? Here it comes. Chuka, 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 chuka. Chuka, chuka. That's right, guys. The train, it's pulling into the station like a bad habit that just keeps coming back. The cars smell like bad liquor and cheap thrills. Air reeks of desperation. You're standing on the platform. You're waiting for a ride. No. You're waiting for a chance, a fix, a spin of the wheel, and I am your conductor. NFL Week 3. All aboard!
Green Bay Packers at Cleveland Browns.
Packers are laying 7.5. The total here is at 41.5. Now, look, I pride myself on admitting when I'm wrong. So I owe Luke Shuey an apology. I owe the city of Green Bay an apology. I owe the Packers an apology. I was wrong. I was wrong about the Packers. I admit it. Look, maybe, just maybe, the best team in the NFL. 2 weeks, small sample size. But as of right now, I have them graded as the best team in the NFL. Both sides of the ball. Micah is playing like a man possessed. Absolute fucking savage. Look, you hold Detroit and Washington back-to-back weeks. That's impressive, right? Like, that's impressive. You control the trenches, control the clock, dictate the tempo, dominated both sides of the ball. You deserve an attaboy. So attaboy to the Packers, attaboy to the city of Green Bay. Now, look, it still smells like shit, like cow shit, right? Awful place to live, but attaboy. Only things to do, cow tipping, cheese, more cheese.
Hey, you live there.
Yeah, exactly. Nightlife, Applebee's, bowling alleys, and a gas station with 2 pumps, Luke. Perfect for you there, buddy.
I don't even have a comeback for that one. Hey, Lambeau Field is special. It's hard to win on the road. We, from Wisconsin, accept your apology. I've been excited all week. Got the Bush gear on. Got the Bush.
Yeah, I'm about 6 deep already.
I'm ready to roll.
Luke out here doing his best Morgan Wallen impression tonight.
Yeah, we got a little caterpillar on the upper lip.
Good whiskey, bad decisions. That's the motto of player performance, right?
Everybody needs a little extra fun on the upper
All right,
lip.
Lukey, tell us who you're targeting here.
I mean, I got to go Packers here. And if we're not going homer, this is a stat-backed bet. And Jay, I'm going Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown. I think the biggest question for you is, should Josh Jacobs replace David Montgomery, anytime touchdown on your Tuesday
No, there's
repeat?
a special place in my heart. Montgomery worked, or I should say ran his way back into my heart last week. See what I did there?
You're right. Nobody can replace him. But Jacobs is a good second. He's scored in both games so far this season. And guess what? He scored in 9 straight games to end his season last year in 2024, including the playoffs. That's 11 straight games this prop is cashed. I'm going back to the well here. Matt LaFleur, he's so confident in pounding the rock to Jacobs. He's going to get 15, 20 carries. Packers, they don't really have a large red zone target to throw the ball up to. That's why they look to Jacobs. This could be a top look every week this season, particularly against the Browns' bad defense, which I shouldn't say they're bad. They're actually a pretty good defense. But I think that the Packers put up some points. Lock in the anytime tutty, Jay. I'll see you at the window. I'm going to down this beer first.
Listen, you know me. I always give a little kickback, and I'm going to ask you, them boys over there just held King Henry, to 20-something yards, right? You're not a little worried about that? Because once they lock in on a lead back, they typically dig in. The Browns' front is legit. So that's the
Yeah,
only thing
it
that would
is.
scare me here. But the good thing about the anytime touchdown is if you get inside the 5, which is going to be the key, right? Because he's probably not going to break a long one against this Browns defense. But once you get inside the 5, it's going to be Josh time. It's going to be Jacobs time. And the good thing about Josh Jacobs is they're using him more out of the backfield. And I think that only adds value to your play.
Great call. I was going to say he can get a receiving touchdown here to cash it for us. And I have a really fun fact for you. This guy kind of actually stouts the Browns defense. This is a fact I've never seen in my life. One of the craziest things I think you could come up with. I can't even wrap my head around it. Cleveland 0-2, losing by quite a few last week, is the best defense in the NFL for yardage. How's that possible? How are you 0-2, point differential down 30 at something, and you still
Because a lot of short fields, right? The problem that they had last week is Stefanski wasn't allowing Flacco to do anything, right? Like they couldn't do anything offensively. They was dink and dunk. I think his motto is going to be with Joe Flacco, which is crazy because Joe Flacco has the best arm pretty much of any quarterback that he's had since he's been in Cleveland. But they're not letting him throw the ball down the field. And that 1-2 punch, I know, and that 1-2 punch, it should be or could be dangerous, him and Jerry Jeudy, right? But for some reason, they're not allowing it to happen. They're allowing him to dink, dunk, look at check downs, and that's what Joe Flacco is doing. He's playing within the system because I believe that Stefanski thinks that the best way to victory is to be in it in the fourth quarter, and the best way to be in it in the fourth quarter is not allow Joe Flacco to make any mistakes and then play off of his defense, which does make sense when you're talking about a 40-plus-year-old quarterback. But if that's the case, then you know what? Pull the car out of the garage, allow somebody to take the helms that gives you a better chance, because you're not going to win in the NFL, not in today's NFL, scoring 15 points a game. Just not going to do it, right?
I agree. One last point here in this game that is on the Cleveland side. So Josh Jacobs is my pick. Anytime touchdown, book it. But one guy that I don't think he's necessarily going to pop off this week, he could. Packers, phenomenal run defense through 2 weeks. Keep your eye on Judkins. I'm super high on Quinshon Judkins the rest of the season. I'm likely going to be taking his props multiple times on the VIP card here the next 3 weeks. So just saying, prelude, keep your eye on Judkins, Josh Jacobs, anytime TD, book it.
Now, for me, I'm not going to lay more than a touchdown, not on the road, not against this Browns defense. On the other side, look, I'm not sure that the Browns are going to be able to score in this game. Cleveland has the worst turnover differential in the league right now, -4, 28th in points, 27th in rushing. Joe Flacco, 28th QBR. And look, it looks like the Packers are going to finally let the Ferrari out of the garage, right? Micah Parsons' snap count is gone. Dunzo. That's it. He's going to be in there full game. And look at what he's done in limited time. I don't know. Is that really the way maybe you want to play Micah? Keep some tread on the tires, allow him to come in and spot play. I don't know. He's not great against the run, right? Like what he does is he really excels on 3rd and long, on 2nd and long, but they'll let him go. They're finally letting him go, letting that man get up on the highway and get some gas. All right, look, I'm going to look to the under in this spot, maybe a Browns team total closer to game time. I'm not there yet, haven't got to the window, but I do like the Josh Jacobs ATD look.
Indianapolis Colts at Tennessee Titans.
Colts are laying 3.5. The total here is at 43.5. Look, I'm going to take an L here. I know I'm going to take an L because when it comes to sports gambling, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it is always absolutely 100% of the time a goose. But still, I can't do it. I can't take Tennessee. I can't not see what I just seen from the Titans. The Colts, they're making NFL history. Yet to punt. They've scored on every possession to start the season. Their offense is humming like an OnlyFans throat goat. 33 in their opener versus Miami. They followed that up with 29 against Denver. Danny Dimes, efficient, playing clean, limiting turnovers, cashing in on short fields. In gambling terms, they control the variance. And that is exactly how you cash tickets. Meanwhile, Cam Ward, it looks like he's throwing medicine balls. Week 1 against Denver, 12 of 28, 112 yards, 6 sacks. Dead last in explosive plays. His completion percentage makes Tim Tebow look like Drew Brees. Week 2 wasn't much better. Their defense is a sieve. 33 to the Rams. Bottom 3rd in run defense. 22nd in sack rate. 31st in pressure rate. Listen, if struggle was a team, it would be the Tennessee Titans. Don't overthink this one. Take the Colts. Lay the 3.
Cincinnati Bengals at Minnesota Vikings.
Vikings are laying 2.5. The total here is at 42.5. So both Joe Burrow and J.J. McCarthy are out. It's the battle of the bastards. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Browning and Wentz, 5 things that I would rather do on Sunday than bet the Bengals and Vikings. First, I'd rather get stuck in an elevator with a Cowboys fan explaining this is their year. I'd rather do calculus with Antonio Brown as my tutor. I'd rather bend over at a Nickelback concert. I'd rather share an Uber with Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. I'd rather let Deshaun Watson pick my massage therapist. There you have it, the 5 things I would rather do on Sunday than to bet the Bengals Vikings.
Pittsburgh Steelers at New England Patriots.
Steelers are laying 1. The total here is at 44.5. Steelers have invested heavily in their defense. I say they overpaid because right now through weeks 1 and 2, they haven't been able to stop anything, couldn't tackle a couch, couldn't cover a bed, 30 to the Jets, and then back-to-back 30s. They give up 30 to the Seahawks. Seahawks basically ran all over them. These aren't exactly offensive juggernauts. It's crazy to think that Tomlin is a Gibson kickoff fumble away from an 0-2 start, Coach.
Yeah, it's crazy. And offensively, they're really not good either. At 2 O-line starters are out. I don't know when they're getting them back. The run game's awful. And that's Pittsburgh. Like, Pittsburgh ever since I've been alive, it's run the football, play defense. Now they can't do either. And what really sucks is they have not done well against New England for the last probably 20 years, really. 1-8 in the last 6 or 9. 1-7-1 against the spread. They haven't won a game in New England in 18 or 19 years. Rodgers hasn't done well against New England either. 2 career starts, he's 0-2. So not a lot that's really promising for Pittsburgh here. One thing that they don't do really well is get off to a good start, and they haven't done that this year, obviously. But even last year, if you go back to the beginning of last year, they are 5-15 against the spread in the first quarter. They give up almost the most points in the NFL in the first quarter. They're 28th. And it just so happens that New England, which, I know where they're not where they need to be yet. They're still figuring things out, but they're actually the number 1 scoring team in the first quarter so far. So they start well. Pittsburgh does not, which leads me to one thing that I like, and that's the first quarter spread. It's a game similar to Pittsburgh and the Jets in week 1. Pittsburgh comes in on the road, short favorite, and they start like shit, and they're down by 2 at the end of the first quarter. I like New England plus 1.5 here at home in the first quarter.
Yeah, the key here is to get that plus 1.5. This way, if you're tied after 1, you still cash that bet.
Yep.
Los Angeles Rams at Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles are laying 3.5. The total here is at 45.5. Now, this line opened up at 4.5 or 5. The Rams took some money and is now down to 3.5. The Rams 9-2 their last 11 games, but both losses to this Philadelphia team. Do they get revenge here, Guns, or do the Eagles just own this team?
No, I think this is a full revenge spot. We got to be taking the Rams on this one. I'm not impressed with this Philadelphia Eagles team, even though they're coming in 2-0, coming off that big win versus Kansas City at Arrowhead. We got to look at this Rams team. They can run the ball very well. Kyron Williams, very good. He ran 6 yards per carry last game versus Tennessee, so he's getting up there. And then we got Philly. Concerns with the run defense. We saw it a little bit last week. They give it up 5.5 yards per carry on average so far versus Dallas and KC. And then you got to look at the pressure. If you can get pressure on this Philly team and that offensive line, you should be able to get to them. And they have a 13.3% sack rate. And then for Philly can't blitz anybody. They got a 3.2% sack rate. So low sack rate versus a high sack rate means we're going to be dealing with a little bit of problems here with this Philly offense. And then we just got to look at the Rams. They are absolutely good on the road, 13-6-1 ATS dating back to 2023. So this is a Rams spot all day long. Revenge angle initiated. Give me the Rams plus 3.5 in this game.
So that was cute. I mean, it's wrong, but it's cute. Look, I had the Rams last week. They struggled through 3 quarters, 20-16 going into the 4th. And that was against the Titans. That was against Cam Ward. That was against Callahan, right? Cam Ward is fucking trash, and Callahan is the dumpster. The Tennessee organization is the goo and the sludge that drips out of the dumpsters in New York City. Now, second game on the road. Second game, West Coast to East Coast. They go west to east, west to east, west to east for another early game, back-to-back weeks. This is just a terrible travel spot. Listen, I didn't write the rules. I just mastered them. This is absolutely a Philadelphia spot.
I mean, if you want to say it's a Philadelphia spot, go ahead. Take your money.
I did.
Go bring it to the book, and then ask me again on Sunday if you're going to be cashing that ticket. While I'm holding mine, I'm like, excuse me, I'm going to cash this in. I'm going to get my money here. You got to look at the statistical analytics. Forget the scores. Forget who they played on this one. You have a Rams team that has a plus 10 point differential, plus 108 net yard average in their first two games, and you look at Philly. Philly's got a plus 3 point differential, minus 42 net yard average. They have lost the yardage battle in 2 games against their rival in the NFC East in Dallas, and then to a KC team that, quite frankly, is dropping off the map, okay? If you want to go back that team, go ahead. I think the Rams are coming to revenge, and if it was a Philly spot, then why wouldn't the line be 10? Last time these two teams played each other in Philly, it was 7.5. Now it's dropping to 3.5 right now. You got to be taking the Rams on this one. I mean, it dropped 4.
Okay. So why? It's because all the talking heads and all the sharps are trying to get out in front of a number, trying to be contrarian, because there's no way that this Philadelphia Eagle team can just keep doing what they're doing. But they just keep doing what they're doing. Listen, you got an aging quarterback. When Stafford checks down, he has to get his wife's approval first, right? Like, no one blitzes harder than she does. Every time he yells Omaha, she yells, take out the fucking trash. Look, I'm a numbers guy. You're a numbers guy. And here are the numbers. Head to head, the Eagles 9-1 last 10 straight up, 8-2 against the spread. Defense, 9th in yards, 8th in pass yards, 7th in completion percentage, 4th in QBR. You want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys? That's great. But their offense is still fucking legit. One of the best offenses in the NFL. You want to talk about the Chiefs? That's great. But their defense is still legit. One of the best defenses in the NFL. Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua couldn't fucking separate from the Titans. Eagles corners are long, lockdown corners. They're going to suffocate Adams and Nacua. On offense, they control the clock. They wear down defenses. They dictate tempo. Eagles, better in the trenches, both sides of the ball. And they're battle-tested. Cowboys and Chiefs, give me the Eagles. Final thought?
Final thought, okay. Matt Stafford is going to be sitting there with a lawn chair drinking an iced tea with that pass rush that they got. 3.2% sack rate in their first 2 weeks, and they got a great offensive line. They got great offensive weapons.
I'm just going to ask you one question. No, one question, and you just say yes or no.
Go ahead.
Are you comfortable that every single talking head on fucking YouTube, on all these podcasts, are all back in the Rams?
Head that's taking the Rams right
Everybody's
now.
on the Rams.
Give me the clip. I haven't seen anybody talking about this game except for
everybody is wrong.
Philly is.
I like being contrarian. I like to be on an island by myself. I'll be there in my beach chair sipping pina coladas, sand between my fucking toes. Gotta fucking love it. All right, guys, listen, place your votes now. Drop in the comment section right now. If you're riding with guns and all of the talking heads on YouTube, put a comment Rams. And if you're locked in with me, the sharp side, the Eagle side, comment fly, Eagles fly. Let's go. 1v1.
J.A. Cavaliers Pro Football Triple Crown. 3 NFL games for this Sunday. 3 straight, 3 two-team parlays, 1 week, $99. His Pro Football Triple Crown must go 3-0 or the entire NFL season is free. J.A. Cavaliers Pro Football Triple Crown. Link in the description below. Click the link now and jump on the money train.
New York Jets at Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Bucks are laying 6.5. The total here is at 43.5. So I'm back here with Dirty Luke Sanchez, the prop master. Yes, hey. So all the sharps were on the Jets last week. Not this guy. All the sharps love the D, love the matchup, love the Jets defense. Not this guy. Josh Allen always struggles in New York. Not this guy. All the sharps put Justin Fields on a fucking pedestal. Not this guy. You know who didn't believe in Baker? Yep. This guy. Luke, we were all out on the Bucs on Monday night. We took it in the short, but then, of course, what happens? Baker goes out and just does what Baker does, right? He defies the laws of fucking football. Too short, too cocky, too erratic, but Baker keeps giving the bird to all the doubters, me included, right? Like, I'm probably first on that list. So here it is, ride or die.
Ride or die, remember?
Luke, you're going to say it. I'm going to play it. It cashes. And somebody from the comments is going to win a $200 Amazon gift card from the good folks here at whylose.com. The key words here are going to be Dirty Sanchez. Like you just teed it up. Dirty Sanchez. So that's right, guys. Right now, drop the term Dirty Sanchez in the comments. And if this prop cashes, somebody is going to win a $200 Amazon gift card. Luke, put it on them.
We didn't even plan that ahead of time. Jay just likes my stash that much. He can't get over it. You're spot
It looks
on.
like a landing pad.
Yeah, well, we're rolling with it. The wife likes it, so I like it. We're going. There's no better money spent in your pocket than Jay's money. So let's get that $200 dished out. I want to say I also faded Baker. God damn that 4th and 10 run. Few quarterbacks can do that. Very few. Elite stuff out of him on the comeback. That being said, I'm not going to Baker, but I am going to the Bucs here. There's too many unknowns with Tyrod Taylor and the Jets offense as he's playing a backup role to Fields, who's out. Potential blowout looming here. I don't know. Can the Bucs blow him out? The best prop angle has to be leaning on Bucky Irvin. Kid's an absolute stud. He does it all. Run game, pass game, just one of the top running backs in the NFL. New York ranks 24th through 2 weeks at rushing defense, and they gave up 224 yards last week on the ground to the Bills and Jays, Josh Allen. Irving, he's averaging just 54 rushing yards per game. That's actually fairly low. His touches have been there. That's what's important to me. 31 carries so far this season. It's an overline to here to this week to end. Listen to this. To end the 2024 season, Irving covered this line in 8 of his last 9 games. He's going to get near the 100 mark in this one. I think he has over 100 rushing yards. That's right. Give me Bucky Irving over 67.5. I think he cruises past this line. Ride or die. Dirty Sanchez. Book it.
All right, guys, that's the ride or die. Bucky Irving over 67.5 rushing yards. That pops, that hits, that cashes. Somebody from the comments is going to win a $200 Amazon gift card. Right now, comment Dirty Sanchez.
I can't see
Dirty Sanchez, that's right. That's going to be the phrase that pays. Look, for me, this is just a bad spot for Tampa Bay. First off, short week. Offensive line is decimated. Baker Mayfield a little bit banged up coming into this one. I get it. Justin Fields is out. But it's not crazy to think that Tyrod Taylor may arguably be an upgrade from Justin Fields, right? He doesn't make mistakes. He takes care of the ball. In fact, he may play a little bit too conservatively. But conservative works when you have a good defense. C.J. Stroud couldn't take advantage of it last week on Monday night, right? You know, a crafty veteran like Tyrod just might. Look, Luke, I mean, Jets defense just saw Josh Allen. You got to admit that anything after Josh Allen is going to be a downgrade. You have to love the Jets in this spot. The Bucs do win. I do think the Bucs are going to win this game, but I still think the Jets actually cover the spread, cover the big number on the road. A short week for the Bucs, line decimated, and Baker Mayfield banged up. This is going to be a Jet spot. Take the touchdown here, and let's go. Remember, the ride or die is Bucky Irving over 67.5 rushing yards.
Atlanta Falcons at Carolina Panthers.
Falcons are laying 6.5. The total here is at 43.5. It's NFL Week 3. So that means for the third straight week, the talking heads on YouTube are scribbling in Carolina blue. Fake narrative supporting the Panthers. But let me tell you something. If you're looking for that narrative, you're probably also looking for a unicorn riding a unicycle, because the cold hard facts paint a different picture entirely, and numbers don't lie. The Panthers averaging 10 points a game, 29th in the league, 255 yards, 142 through the air. Bryce Young drops back and immediately looks like a kid who lost his mom in Target. Hard to believe, but their defense just may be worse. 378 yards a game, 200 on the ground, second worst in the NFL, and now they have to face Atlanta. The Falcons' running game is the NFL's version of Groundhog Day. Same play, same results, and it's unstoppable. 218 against the Vikings. Bijan went nuke 143. Algier added 76. They just might leave cleat marks on Carolina's pride. So if you're looking to back the Carolina Panthers, you're not sharp. You're a philanthropist because every stat, every trend, every matchup screams ATL. And I be on it all night, man. I be on it all day. Straight up, pimp. If you want me, you can find me in the
Houston Texans at Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars are laying 1.5. The total here is at 44.5. So the short money is all over Houston in this spot. The line opened up at 3, and it's now down to 1 or 1.5, depending where you shop. Jaguars had everything lined up perfectly last week. The Bengals defense, Joe Burrow gets hurt. You're facing Jake Browning. Jake Browning comes in, throws 3 interceptions, and still they end up giving that game away. The Texans, well, we all ate shit on Monday night, right? Texans had every chance to cover. Defense did its job, applied pressure all night, forced Baker to step up into the pocket, forced turnover-worthy plays. And look, he did, right? A couple of fortuitous bounces for the Bucs, but the defense did their job. C.J. Stroud, however, could not capitalize. Run game non-existent. And you can't tell me that they didn't let Nick Chubb score on that fucking play. I mean, there's never been a hole that wide open in the NFL. On the goal line 3 times from the 1, Nick Chubb goes nowhere. C.J. Stroud next 2 passes wasn't even close. Nico Collins wide open, and he just fucking couldn't connect. That would have pretty much cashed all fucking tickets. Guns, are we just out on the Texans now?
I mean, I am, at least for this game, and I'm riding back to the well. I took Jacksonville as my best bet last week, and well, that was a coaching error of all errors by Cohen. Going forward on 4th down instead of just kicking that field goal. I know the analytics told you to go one way or the other, but come on now. We're playing for the gamblers here.
Wait, hold up. So are you in agreement with me where I believe that the analytics in a couple of years are going to end up flipping and telling you that it's not a good idea? Because, I mean, they had very short and very small sample sizes to go on when these so-called analytics came out, right? Because teams were typically going for it on 4th down late in the 4th quarter when they're down 10-plus points, right? So, of course, the defense is playing back. Of course, the defense is playing prevent. So a 4th down in spots where you're not expecting the team to go for it on 4th down, or you don't care if they do or not, of course it's easier to make. I have a feeling over the next couple of years they're going to make the analytics are going to look stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is you don't have guys that like played football and then kind of you got guys that are just like
Brandon
guys.
Staley.
Yeah, just
Brandon
working their
Staley
way up into the program and just learned how to do the X's and O's. I mean, if you know how to use a spreadsheet, you can be a head coach in the NFL now. But I mean, looking at this game, I'm gonna wipe my memory from what both of these teams did last week. Okay, you have Houston that's 0-2 on the year. Statistically, they're just bad. They only put up 266 yards of total offense in that game. They looked great in the first couple of drives, and then you just fell apart. With Jacksonville, they should be 2-0, but they're 1-1 on the year. Tough loss to Cincinnati last week, but they have a +6 point differential, +87 net yard average on the year. And they're just very good on both sides of the ball, regardless of the coaching. I keep bringing up the coaching, but in this spot, I think it's Jacksonville.
It matters.
Jacksonville's going to want to run the ball. First 2 games, 177 yards per game, 5.7 yards per carry. That's going to be a key point on this. The offensive line has been solid in the passing game, too, 1.4% sack rate. So the offensive line's been tough. The running game's been tough, and I love teams that can run the ball and block. Then you have Houston offense only averages 266 yards of total offense, 2 games, 14 points per game, -63 net yard average. And their offensive line is terrible with an 11.8% sack rate given up to their opponents. Jacksonville 8-3 ATS versus divisional opponents going back to 2023 and 4-1-1 in last year alone. And Houston is on an absolute cold streak versus divisional opponents, 1-4-1 ATS in those spots. So Jacksonville, I'm just picking a winner. Give it to me. Money line as the play.
Guns over here being contrarian, going against the sharps. So, I mean, are you wiping it from your memory, or do you just have selective memory?
I'm going to give it one more week. I do like the team. I like the numbers. I think they're very good, and they played very well last week versus Cincinnati, and they just let their foot off the gas pedal and made stupid mistakes. And that's just because he hasn't been a head coach before in that position. Always been a coordinator, never a head coach. He's going to learn. And I think he's going to grow as a head coach going through the season. I like this Jacksonville team a lot.
I kind of lean towards the Texans in this spot. I probably don't get there, right? But it just feels like a Texans spot. And maybe for me, I just have a Texan PTSD, right? So I'll probably stay off. I probably don't get to the window. But, if I do get involved, I got to be honest, it would be Houston or nothing. Just based on this number, right? Like just based on the line, just based on the number, just based on the movement and where the money's gone. I told you guys, it's really not about teams for me. It's more so about the numbers. And also, you have to have a short memory when it comes to handicapping, just like you have to have a short memory when you're a quarterback, right? You come out, you throw an interception, you have to be able to come back on the next drive and march down the field and score. That's what separates the good from the CJ Strouds and Trevor Lawrences of the world. Like, wait and see for me, but Guns is fired up. He is here on the Jaguars in this one.
Denver Broncos and Los Angeles Chargers.
You should never bet the NFL unless you follow this guy. Look, you like the Chargers. Of course you do. Everyone does, and for good reason. Justin Herbert is playing like a man possessed. That's why you follow this guy. Look, I told you, we don't bet teams. We play spots, we play situations, we play numbers, and this is absolutely a Broncos spot. The numbers are speaking. Are you listening? When they speak, you have to listen. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. 5 times this season, there's been a 2.5 point underdog. All 5 times, the underdog has covered. 4 of which, the puppy didn't just bark. That bitch would bite. Chargers plus 2.5. Outright over the Chiefs. Raiders plus 2.5. Outright over the Patriots. Jets lost by 2 to the Steelers. Getting how many? That's right, 2.5. Patriots plus 2.5. Outright over the Dolphins. And on Monday night, the Buccaneers plus 2.5. Outright over the Texans. I get it. The Chargers are 2-0. They beat Patrick Mahomes. They beat the Chiefs. They crushed the Raiders. But pull back the curtain. This team is a one-trick pony. 90 rushing yards against KC. 80 against Vegas. Their offense is as one-dimensional as Madison Beer's vocals. If Justin isn't being Superman, the Chargers are in trouble. Broncos defense, 6 yards per play. Third in passing yards. 56 completion percentage allowed. 33% on pressure rate. 10% sack rate. Justin is going to be speed dating linebackers in this game. Upset special. Give me the Broncos. They win this game outright.
Tell me what you gonna do now. Keep rolling, keep rolling.
New Orleans Saints at Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks are laying 7.5. The total here is at 41.5. Now, people I respect are actually coming in on the Saints here. I don't see it. Are they just back into trends? Because 0-2 teams, week 3, 60%, better than 60% actually. But is that enough? I mean, are the Saints going to be able to run? Are they going to be able to move the ball? Are they going to be able to fucking score? Not against Seattle, right? Not against that 12th man. It's hard for me to see a world where the Saints covered this game. Now, I do know, of course, it exists. It is the NFL after all. Any given Sunday, as they say, blah, 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 blah. But, Coach, it's a different world than the one we know. The things that used to happen or the things that happened, 3-4 years ago no longer apply. So as a handicapper, of course, you have to adapt or you have to watch your bankroll die. Coach, are you adapting or are you ready to roll over?
I will improvise, adapt, and overcome, baby, all day long.
Coach is like a roach. He isn't going anywhere.
That's right. Damn it. I'm freaking Gunnery Sergeant Thomas Highway. Improvise, adapt, overcome. You're a U.S. Marine. You know what's going to improvise, adapt, overcome is going to be freaking Sam Darnold, and it won't be the Rattler. I'm sorry, but I mean, Spencer Rattler just how in the world can you not have a dude better than him? And I know, Tyler Shaw's hurt. He was probably the guy, but Spencer Rattler's just not. He's not an NFL starter. And, if you want to have him as a backup.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but I do think that you have to give the kid a full year to see what he actually is, right? You don't know that he doesn't come on second half of the season and resemble a quarterback. Also, you don't know what you drafted in Chuck. So, I mean, there's a couple different angles I see in that. And I do think that, if you drafted the kid, give the kid a shot because it's not like you have anything much better behind him. And also it gives Shuck a little bit of time to get used to the rhythm, get used to the NFL schedule, get used to game film, game tape, and the speed of the NFL. So I think it's still a good move if in fact that you think that Shuck is your guy, right?
Yeah, if he's the guy, which he, for all intents and purposes, he was the guy.
We don't know.
Rattler, of course, it allows him to get healthy too, which is probably more important. But offensively, they're just bad. I mean, they're not good. Obviously, when he started 8 games and he's lost all of them. The offense not bottom of the league in scoring, 26th, I believe, 24th in EPA per play. They don't run it well. They don't pass it well. But Darnold, for me, it's about Sam Darnold. He's the better quarterback, and Seattle's the better defense. Mike McDonald is going to put together some things that probably mess up Spencer Rattler. They actually lead the NFL in pressure rate, and they really haven't blitzed all that much yet. So they're getting pressure with their 4 down, which that's going to be an issue for Rattler as well. Sam Darnold doesn't have a ton of starts in his NFL career either, but he started last year in Minnesota. He has only been a favorite of 6 or more 6 times. And in those 6, he's actually 6-0. The last 2 were last year when he was at Minnesota. 7-point favorite versus Chicago. They won the game 30-12. 8-point favorite at Houston. They won the game 24-9. I just think Seattle's defense is better. I think Darnold's better. I would take a look at there's something I like as well as Seattle -7.5. Rattler hasn't thrown a pick yet, and I think with the Seattle defense getting after him a little bit, I think that'll mess with them, and they'll throw a couple exotics at him, and I think he throws a pick. You can get his over half interception at +105. But my pick, though, it's Seattle -7.5. I don't see how they.
Well, listen, guys, like this is important, right? So you're not going to lay the 7.5. Like let's be real. You're not going to lay the 7.5. Now, officially, he's going to sit here and he's going to tell you that the line is 7.5 because that's what the line is, right? But naturally, Coach, you're going to tell them that if you want to get a little bit more conservative, you can get it down to 7. Exactly. But the right thing to do would be to get it here at 6.5. Correct?
Yeah, correct. Yes, and I was going to mention that if you want to be more conservative, you want to buy it at 7, but preferably buy it to 6.5 so you can get the win.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sit here with a 7.5. I mean, me personally, I mean, I still have a wait and see label on Sam Darnold, especially with laying over a touchdown. So, I don't have a play here. I definitely can't back the Saints. I think what the Saints did in week 1 and 2 is a little bit of fugazi. Yeah, they looked good against the Arizona Cardinals, a West Coast team coming east and playing early. And then last week, it was Mac Jones. It's Mac fucking Jones, and we still don't know what the 49ers are, right? The 49ers just may be. And the 49ers just may be the worst 2-0 team in the NFL, right? So we still don't know exactly what's going on here. And I don't know if Sam Darnold is still that dude that he was with Kevin O'Connell. That's still a wait and see for me. Like I said, I'd rather shit in my hands and clap than bet on this game.
Dallas Cowboys at Chicago Bears.
Bears are laying 1.5. The total here is at 49.5. I'm going to be on an island here, my own isolated betting island. The water, it's crystal clear like the Texans offense on Monday night. Palm trees swaying like they're mocking me for every bad bet I ever made. But still, I sit there in my beach chair sipping pina coladas. I'm laughing at the herd. The public, they love the star, love America's team. Great. Let them load the Titanic. I'm going to be that guy waving from the lifeboat. I'm not following the noise. I'm fading it because that's where the real edge lies. Yeah, betting on Caleb Williams is uncomfortable, but the Cowboys defense looks like it booked a 2-week all-inclusive trip to Cancun. They forgot the season started. They're giving up 404 yards per game. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but 404 warnings indicate that a site cannot be found, which makes perfect sense because neither can their pass rush. You don't back defenses that check out early, give up chunk plays, and can't get off the field on 3rd down. Caleb Williams may just think and dunk his way to the end zone, hitting every souvenir shop along the way. I'm going to take my island, my solitude, and oh yeah, my bankroll. I'm going to take the Bears money line.
Arizona Cardinals at San Francisco 49ers.
Niners are laying 2.5. The total here is at 45.5. Guns, do me a favor. Help me out here. I have absolutely zero opinions, zero fucks given about this game. I will say this. If you held an Arizona Cardinal ticket last week, my condolences. What a fucking shit show. What a shit way to lose a game. Up 18 in the 4th, and they're outscored 13-0. But, Guns, you got to love the NFL, man.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. I mean, that's why you have to watch every single quarter, watch it to the fourth quarter. But when you look at this game with Arizona versus San Francisco, I think the biggest question in here is who's going to be the quarterback, right? Brock Purdy. As I looked up here right before we did the recording on this one, don't know if he's going to be playing. It's either going to be Mac Jones, going to be Brock Purdy, but nonetheless, I still like the Arizona spot on this one. Arizona did win both meetings last year, but the line was a lot different. 7.5 road dogs last year, and now you're seeing it at a 2.5. It could be a little bit of the injury, but I don't think Brock Purdy is worth 5 points, quite frankly. Then you got Arizona, better rushing team so far, 4.7 yards per carry versus 3.2 yards per carry with San Francisco. That's remarkable when you have CMC in the backfield. Also, Arizona, 5-1 ATS as an away dog dating back to 2024 and 7-2 ATS as a dog overall. San Francisco is 2-5 ATS in their last 7 division games. I can't back this 49er team whatsoever, and I think Arizona gets it done and will actually get you a cover because they're a dog, not a favorite. Give me Arizona plus 2.5.
Yeah, I was going to say, the good thing about Purdy in this game is you probably get a lot more value with the Cardinals in this spot. So, I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. Arizona's playing well right now. One on the road. They did win. And listen, the one thing about the fourth quarter, it's not like they melted down. They just stopped giving a fuck, right? And it's really hard for an NFL team to get back up once you're up by so many points and you start to let down. It's really hard to get that momentum going. It's really hard to get up for a game. So I definitely agree with you in this spot.
Especially when you got a divisional game coming up. So you look for
agree. Yeah. I mean, it's not many teams that are going to take Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers that serious this year. Exactly.
No, not at all.
Kansas City Chiefs at New York Giants.
Here it is, Sunday Night Football. We have the Kansas City Chiefs laying 6.5. The total here is at 45.5. We're going to put some carries, under some wood here on Sunday night. Looking at this number, it's hard to imagine that the Chiefs are going to start or could start 0-3. It seems like such a Chiefs spot, though. We look at games 1 and 2. They lost those games, right? But they lost those games to better teams. The Chargers are better than the Kansas City Chiefs. The Eagles are better than the Kansas City Chiefs. The Giants, however, are not better than the Kansas City Chiefs. Russell Wilson torched the Dallas Cowboys. But look, slow down. The Dallas Cowgirls are going to get torched a total of 17 times this fucking season. The Chiefs are not the Dallas Cowboys. Spags is not going to allow receivers to run free in the middle of the field. But we also know you don't bet the Chiefs laying more than a field goal, right? The way you beat the Chiefs, you run the fucking ball. Keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. But New York doesn't have a running game to speak of. They don't have the horses. For all those yards against Dallas, just 84 on the ground, 70 against Washington. Luke, I mentioned in run game for a reason. Are you targeting or fading either of these Giants backs?
I'm staying away from New York's backfield, man, mostly because you cannot predict who's going to get the touches. We saw Scattaboo get more last week. First week, we saw Tyrone Tracy carry the ball a lot more. I cannot predict who's getting the snap share count this week. So for that reason, I got to go to the Chiefs here in this spot. It's the Meadowlands. I know it might be a hell of a game, but I'm going Mahomes over 22.5 completions. What we know here is that the Chiefs are 0-2, and they got to show up. And Mahomes has to stop running for his life. Well, his stats are crazy. I don't know if you saw this, Jay. He's put the team on his back, but he's ran 13 times for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns through two games. Yeah, those stats are great, but that is not how Kansas City wins. That's not a recipe for success throughout the season. If Dak Prescott can go 38 of 52 against this Giants defense, I expect Mahomes to have at least 23 completions. Andy Reid will dial up some of the short passing game. A lot of checkdowns. He's going to work some magic there. I do look for Travis Kelce to have a little bit more involvement. And again, running backs out of the backfield, checkdowns all day. Mahomes doesn't have that deep threat without Worthy and without Rashee Rice. It's just going to be a lot of short passing game. I really like this look. We cashed the same prop, if you remember, as a free pick in week 1. I dial it up again here. It's over 22.5 completions. What do we say? Book it, baby.
Yeah, I don't hate that. My only, but I would imagine that it's going to be difficult to run against the Giants. So you're probably going to see Mahomes drop back a lot. The only fear here is the blowout potential, right? Because when you have a blow up, you're a blowout, you're really not going to be taking the chances with Mahomes down the field. So that would be the only fear for me here. But look, if Luke says it, you know what? Obviously, it's worth it. He is the prop master for a reason.
Detroit Lions at Baltimore Ravens.
Ravens are laying 4.5. The total here is at 52.5. We have a little bit of Monday Night Football here for you guys. Now, this line opened up at 6. Wise guys immediately came in on Detroit. They took it down to 4.5. Now, it's easy to back the Lions after hanging 50 on the Bears. Ravens defense was exploited by Buffalo. Browns were able to move the ball up and down the field. Didn't score, but they were able to move the ball. There are holes, right? And there's paths to the end zone against this Baltimore team. Detroit looked awful against Green Bay, but then they found their rhythm under new OC John Morton, who's not really a new OC. He's been in Detroit before. They hung 50 on Chicago, but one word, karma. That's right, karma. You ran the score up on Chicago. Coach, was that a statement? Was that directed directly at Ben Johnson?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, after week 1, it's the sky's falling, and John.
So,
Morton,
do you think it was more so a morale boost in Detroit because of how bad they looked in week 1, or do you think it was more so like take the pile of shit and just shove it right in Ben Johnson's face?
I don't know that they necessarily wanted to throw it in Ben Johnson's face. I just think they wanted to prove that, hey, we're a lot better than 6 points against Green Bay. So, I mean, this offense can score, and they can score on anybody, and they just went out and proved that. In Chicago, their defense isn't all that great, but this week, I mean, they're going up against a Baltimore team that outstanding, and this is a game that very similar, I think, to week 1 when Baltimore played Buffalo. You got two teams that can really score, but you got two teams that are pretty good defenses as well. So, actually, what I actually like Baltimore here. Actually like their team total, and it's something that really you could get on. I mean, if you got on it last season, you're probably a winner. So far this season,
Cash cow. Yes, cash cow.
40.5 points a game so far. Last year averaged 30.1. The year before they averaged 28 a game. I mean, they just put up points. Over the last 2 seasons, if you bet their team total over, you'd be 25-11. And typically, Baltimore plays well in this kind of spot. Home night games under Harbaugh, 23-4. Lamar Jackson on Monday night, 7-2 straight up, has 22 touchdowns in those 9 games. In the last 7, he's thrown at least 2 touchdown passes. So you might want to take a look and see if you can get over 1.5 TD passes. See
what's the total? What's the total? What's the team total?
The team total, 27.5. You can get at -135. I like the over all day. I'm riding.
Now, do you think it'd be better to play the full game over, or you really just keyed in on what the Ravens are going to do?
I mean, Baltimore does so well in spots like this. I want to focus on them, and I like it really because they've been in games like this before. So I mentioned Buffalo. That game 41-40. We know that they played Buffalo last year in the regular season, scored 35. Played Cincinnati twice. Cincinnati can fill it up, right? Scored 41 in one and then 35 in the other. Played the Commanders last year. You know what they did, and they scored 30 on Washington. So I think it's a game similar to all those where it's 2 great offenses against 2 pretty good defenses, and Baltimore scores. Is the full game over a play? Yeah, I just like Baltimore better.
All right, there you have it. Baltimore Ravens team total over. I can never argue or disagree with a Baltimore Ravens team total over in a primetime spot. For me, this is a Monday night game, so I'll have something. I'll have actually quite a bit closer to game time, but nothing for me as of right now. Coach likes the Baltimore Ravens team total over 27.5. All right, Guns, give these guys a best bet. Best way to get paid on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little boring for you guys on this one. I apologize, but I'm going with the Raiders in the Washington game, and I like the total. And let me tell you why, because I did a little bit of digging with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels has got a bad knee. He had an MRI. He looks like he's going to be playing this one. I know he's listed as questionable, but last week, a little bit concerning when you see he only put up 18 points and 51 rushing yards. So I did a little bit digging last year. When you hold this team to under 100 rushing yards, this team does not score points like it should. That was the strength of that team last year. 22.8 points per game in those spots. They're also 1-4 straight up in those positions when you can hold them to under 100 rushing yards. And if there's a strength to the Raiders and a positive element that you can take from them, is they can stop the run. They struggle everywhere else offensively, but they're very good against the run. They held New England to 60 yards rushing, and they held the Chargers, who is a great rushing team, to 81 rush yards. So take it with a grain of salt. I know they lost that game, but there was a lot of elements, especially key turnovers that really took the Raiders out of that game. And then you just have the Raiders 15-8 to the under in the last 23 versus non-conference opponents, and 7-3 to the under with rest disadvantage, which they do because they played Monday Night Football. So with all that being said, I think Daniel's knee is going to be bad. He's going to be hesitant. If he can't run, they're going to have to hand the ball off. It's going to feel very boring in the backfield, and I think that means low scoring. So give me the Raiders, Washington, under 44.5.
There it is. You guys heard it. Best bet from Guns. Commanders, Raiders, under the posted total. Luke, who should we target here this week? What's your best bet?
Well, my best bet last week, it smashed. Best bet this week, we're going to smash. We're going back to Green Bay. It's Josh Jacobs. Anytime tutty. He's cashed it. 9 straight games dating back to last year. 11 if you include the playoffs. Josh Jacobs, anytime touchdown. Cheers to that. And we do it for the farmers up here in Green Bay. For the farmers.
Look, I really can't take you seriously with that fucking stash.
Just wait till I grow it out a little thicker, Yeah.
Coach, do some coaching. Tell these guys how to get paid. What's your best bet?
All right, so New Orleans, Seattle, you might look at the game and be like, this is a dud. But really, this is all about two things. It's Seattle's defense and it's Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold in spots like this, he's played well. He's won and he's covered. The defense, Seattle leads the league in pressure rate. I think they're going to get after Spencer Rattler. Line's currently at 7.5. I would buy it down. You can play at 7. I'd prefer to go 6.5 so you get the win. And the best bet is simply Seattle minus 6.5. Cash it, get to the bank, and giddy up.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Welcome back to Flavortown, Cooking with J.A. Cavalier. On the menu, tonight's special, a 5-leg parlay. Perfectly seared, cooked before kickoff, seasoned to perfection. First, we have to go to the cutting board, the raw protein. The Falcons, money line, no seasoning. No spread. Next, we spice it up a bit. Bam! The Seahawks laying 7.5. Because nothing ruins Sunday faster than watching a 7.5-point chalk lose outright. Then we sprinkle in the Bears. Because honestly, what screams degeneracy more like betting a team you wouldn't watch sober? Now for flavor, we go to the Raiders Commanders under 44.5. We slow simmer, lid clamp tight. And finally, we're going to top it off with a prime cut prop. Josh Jacobs, anytime. Down. Let's go. Now, go scream at your TV like a lunatic while your family questions life choices. Bake it at 425 degrees, a pure delusion. And what do you get? Mwah! Regret. There you have it, a 5-leg parlay. Bon appetit. Manja. Let's eat.
J.A. Cavaliers Pro Football Triple Crown. 3 NFL games for this Sunday. 3 straight, 3 two-team parlays, 1 week, $99. His Pro Football Triple Crown must go 3-0 or the entire NFL season is free. J.A. Cavaliers Pro Football Triple Crown. Link in the description below. Click the link now and jump on the money train.
That's right, guys. Get to ylose.com. That's a letter Y, LOSE.com. Free picks, stats, trends, scores, odds, and more. That's ylose.com, the letter Y, LOSE.com. And pick up this week's NFL Triple Crown. 2-1 last week with 3 max bets on Sunday. I'm looking to sweep the board here. 1 week, $99. Must go 6-0 or the entire NFL season is free. You get 3 max bets, 3 straights, 3 two-team parlays. I'm going to throw in a mega parlay for free. also a top prop and a bonus pick, an upset special. You get it all 1 week, $99. Must go 6-0 or the entire NFL season is free. That's right. All right, man. I am J.A. Cavalier. We're going to see you guys back here next week for Guns, Luke Shuey, and Coach Rick Bowe. I, of course, am your favorite capper's favorite capper. We'll see you back here next week for NFL Week 4. But until then, remember, yesterday's a memory. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. You're here now. You're alive. Let's make it count.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my